On July 1st, 1965, California became the most populous state in America. In Los Angeles, over half the land is used for the care, feeding, and exercise of automobiles. California's growth has been sudden. Grizzly bears roamed the hills of San Francisco just 120 years ago. Every year brings new freeways, more people, and lots of changes, but some things have stayed the same. Not far from cities, California's birds and animals still search for places safe to eat and rest and stay alive. This is the story of California's other populations, a story of honkers and redheads, ring-necked ducks and giant Canada geese. Just as California has always been a goal for human migrations, it's also a haven for winter migrants from breeding grounds thousands of miles to the north. For the birds, every passing year has been harder. 1/3 of what used to be San Francisco Bay is now freeways and houses, airports, and garbage dumps. In the space that's left, western sandpipers pick and poke for tiny creatures in the mud. In deeper water, web-footed avocets search for insects and crustaceans. While men roar overhead in jets, unaware of the life below, willets dart for worms with an instinct that was second nature long before man existed. Just one small mountain range and 2 hours' drive from the cool, moist Pacific coast is a land where few men try to live. Yet man has marked this land, and from mines to jeep roads, every human mark leaves a lasting scar on the Slow-to-Heal Desert. This is Amza Borrego State Park, almost 500,000 acres of desert wilderness, home for many animals who can't survive next to man. Much of this life concentrates in Coyote Canyon, unique in this part of California because of a life-giving stream that bubbles from the desert floor and flows for just 2 miles before it sinks back into the thirsty sand. Stopping to nibble thistles and cactus, desert bighorn sheep travel to water every day in the 120-degree heat. The sheep are led by a cautious old ewe who knows they're most vulnerable when they leave safe and open hills for the crowded creek bottom. Since 1873, bighorn sheep have been protected from hunters who once killed them by the millions. Today, the threat here is a strip of concrete. For 10 years now, there's been a proposal to build a highway along 9 miles of Coyote Canyon, including the creek. The highway would save a few minutes for drivers, but it could scare the desert bighorn from their only year-round water supply. Grassy meadows have always been the first land used by human settlers. This is also the land chosen by white-tailed kites, mice-hunting relatives of the falcons. As man converted more and more meadowlands into fields of domestic plants, white-tailed kites all but disappeared, extinct in Texas, Oklahoma, Florida. By 1927, there were less than 100 white-tailed kites left in the United States, all in California. Today, though no one knows why, white-tailed kites have come back to share California's farmlands with other predatory birds, such as this marsh hawk. While the kites fly high and still, searching large areas for mice, marsh hawks fly low, combing every clump of grass. Tiny meadow mice reproduce so rapidly they would soon consume whole fields if they weren't kept in balance. Kites and hawks protect the farmers' crops and keep the mice healthy. Weak and diseased mice are easy prey. Only the healthiest survive. Besides mice, white-tailed kites catch large insects, such as beetles and dragonflies. Kites are named for the special way they dive. Unlike hawks, who tuck their wings next to their bodies and drop like bullets, kites lift their wings and kite, or glide, to earth. The white-tailed kite is back from near extinction, though man can't take any credit for the comeback, and there's nothing to say it can't happen again. By late afternoon, owls replace the kites to start their own search for food. The northwest corner of California. Here, at the edge of a continent, driftwood-covered beaches are squeezed between giant redwoods and roaring Pacific waves. This narrow strip of sand and grass is home for California's last Roosevelt elk, peaceful giants forced out by man from what used to be their home, the other side of the forest. Bigger and darker than the Rocky Mountain elk, Roosevelt elk share one unfortunate characteristic with all elk. They're easy to kill. Some hunters said it was almost like shooting cattle. At the turn of the century, professional hunters killed whole herds just for their teeth. Good luck charms for Elk Lodge fraternity members. Without realizing it, they help to destroy their own namesake. Today, California's last Roosevelt elk live protected in Prairie Creek State Park. Not really tame, but far from wild, these few survivors are a reminder of how much we've lost. Pelicans were soaring the coast of France when the first mastodons evolved. Today, California brown pelicans rest in the sun just like their Miocene ancestors. They spend hours every day preening their feathers to keep them dry and buoyant when they dive for fish. For 30 million years, pelicans have crashed into the sea. Evolution protects pelicans from broken bones, but not from man-made poisons just 30 years old. For years, crop dusters sprayed DDT over California farms, but even though it's banned today, 2/3 of the DDT ever used still exists. Much of it is carried, by the wind or by rivers, to the sea. There, DDT and similar chemicals still in use are absorbed by microscopic organisms called plankton. Plankton is the basis for all life in the sea. Plankton and the larger animals that eat plankton store DDT residues in their bodies. Some fish have DDT concentrations thousands of times higher than the water around them. By the time DDT reaches the pelicans, it's even more concentrated. Only then do the effects become noticeable. Brown pelicans breeding in California lay thin-shelled eggs that collapse under the weight of an incubating parent. The pesticides don't kill the mature birds, but reproduction is very low, and the future of brown pelicans breeding in California is in doubt. Four out of 5 Californians live within an hour of the Pacific Ocean. For a few people, the ocean is a living. For many others, it's a welcome escape. With shorter work weeks and longer vacations, more and more people crowd into what used to be the private domain of birds and animals. The question is whether man's domination of this space will destroy it, or whether he can learn to share it. To someone who has never seen bighorn sheep or Roosevelt elk, their troubles might seem remote. If they were to disappear, most of us wouldn't even know they were gone. And when people are enjoying the ocean, it's hard to think of it as polluted. But if fish and pelicans are being harmed by eating contaminated microorganisms that are the basis for all life in the sea, then it must be time to take a careful look around us, not just for the animals' sake, but for our own.